Hey guys, Noah Studios 8 here. We're here with the Season 11 video that you guys voted for. The poll could have completely changed by now because I haven't checked it in a couple days. But the last time I checked, talking about Season 11 was the top pick. So that's why we're talking about this season. I'm going to split this video into two parts. Well, two parts of the video. Same video, but we're going to start by talking about part one, the fire chapter, and then part two, the ice chapter. So let's start with the fire chapter. So let's start with the elephant in the room, the 11 minutes. The 11 minutes, there's 30 episodes in this season, but they're doing less because the episodes are only 11 minutes. A solid 20-minute, 20-episode season would have sufficed. And they could have done what they did with Dragon's Rising. Make 10 episodes of the fire chapter, and then 10 episodes of the ice chapter. And then have one come out all at once, and then the other half come out all at once. So that's that. But that's not really the main issue of the season. Well, actually, it plays into one of the issues of the season, and that is the filler. Thankfully, in the fire chapter, there's only, one episode I can really call filler, and that is the one with the news people, and pretty much nothing else. The news never sleeps. I don't really see it as a filler episode. It does play in to the main plot of the season. But yeah, the one that is filler, it's a pretty bad episode. Another major problem is the ninja are completely reset. They're completely reset to the first episode of season 1. They are lazy. And what the heck? They're just recycling an idea from the first season. It's just lazy. The ninjas should have learned by now. Especially those original 4 who were being lazy. Enies saw their laziness. They should have just learned this by now. But they didn't. Another major problem is Wu's arc. I mean, it's not absolutely terrible, but it definitely does feel like they were just recycling back to the whole, oh, Wu didn't tell the ninja something. Yay. We love that. So let's get into some of the neutral stuff, I'd say. I'll start with the Sphera. Sphera is, not absolute trash, but they definitely could have made a better villain out of her. She's just kind of another revenge on Master Wu villain. However, they didn't just completely recycle it. They did add a bit more to it. But overall, still not a great villain. Definitely one of the worst in Ninjago. Now let's get into some stuff that I really like. I really like Forbidden Spinjitzu. And it is criminal that they only used it in this first half of the season. They did not use it in part 2. Well, the ice chapter, but you get the point. I really like Forbidden Spinjitzu. The fact that it is basically Spinjitzu that's really powerful, but it corrupts you is a very interesting concept. And they definitely should have used it more this season. More than what they did. That is one issue. I don't think they used Forbidden Spinjitzu enough. I also like that they wanted to try and give Kai an arc this season. I don't think the fire powers were really handled well. The firepower arc. I definitely think Sphera could have had much more of a connection to Kai's fire powers. Like, maybe she was once an elemental master of fire, somehow. Yeah, that is another issue with the season. Kai's firepower arc is. It doesn't really make any sense. To me, at least. Kai losing his fire powers and being upset, he did not do that in season 4 when he lost his powers, and he didn't do that in season 5 when he lost his powers. He didn't do it either of those times, but then in this half of the season at least, when he loses his fire powers to his sphere up, he's suddenly depressed. I think what would have been more interesting is if Asphira already had fire powers, and then Kai has to sort of learn to fight without them, because every time he uses his fire powers, it just gets worse. That, in my opinion, would have been a much better. Overall, this season, or at least this half, the fire chapter was half-baked. In fact, maybe even only a quarter baked. It has some elements that I like, but it definitely could have been majorly improved. Alright, now we're in the ice chapter, and oh boy, we already found a huge improvement. The ninja are in the Never Realm. It's this season, well, this half of the season, I just really like it. It is a genuinely much better story than what we were given in part 1. First of all, Kai's arc is a lot better here. Now Kai, it genuinely makes sense for him to feel useless, because he's in a situation where his fire powers could help. Like, what did Kai think was going to happen if he had his powers in Ninjago? Fire was going to kill fire snakes? No. Kai, buddy, that's not how it works. So, that's one thing. And they also tried to do something with Nia, although it does unfortunately emphasize how her powers were completely retconned in the Oni trilogy. That being said, working with what they do have, Nia's powers, having this arc, it's good, but I will admit it didn't really go that far. It was nice for them to try and give Nia something, but it didn't go anywhere. I do also really like Ikeda. Whether I think she's a good ship for Lloyd, that's a little more eh. But I do like her arc. And just her as a character, a compelling backstory, and, well, I can definitely see some parallels between her and Harumi. Both wanted revenge. Though Harumi was working against the ninja, and Ikeda was working with Lloyd. And I do like that Lloyd tries to convince her to go with him. Although, I do have to wonder, should Ikeda have stayed, or should she have gone with Lloyd? I mean, she had her brother back, so there wasn't really any reason for her to go. I actually really like what they did with Cole, making him go and try and get Traveler's Tea to get the ninja home after he lost the original tea they had. And he meets Crag. Crag isn't, he's not a top tier character, but I think he was serviceable for his role. Unfortunately, this season isn't perfect. I already went and made a full video on the anime episodes for this season. The absolute worst is literally nothing and just interrupts the season. We could have cut that episode and nothing would have changed. The Last of the Formlings, on the other hand, is a pretty good anime episode. It uses the anime to help the story rather than act as just filler. The other filler episode this season is the Kaiju Protocol. The Preeminent came back and Pixel had to fight it. That didn't add anything. We could have cut that episode and nothing would have changed. Now, the finale, Awakenings. I have some issues with it, like, why does Zane only remember, like, the past couple weeks of... Well, for the ninja it was only a couple weeks, but For Zane, it was probably decades ago, but couldn't they have had Zane remember maybe his father and a bunch of other things from the classic Ninjago, as well as some of the stuff from Season 11? That probably would have made it feel more impactful for him to remember. I do like that it's Zane remembering his purpose that causes him to remember. And, well, Vex, he's a pretty good villain too. But I don't really like how he was punished. Bro should have been executed for everything he did. He should have died for the mass homicide of an entire species and an entire realm. And they just set him free, pretty much. They send him away. Like, what? They could have done so much more with that. If they had decided to bring him back and crystallized, I definitely would have felt different, but they didn't. So he just kind of ends there, never to be seen again. Overall, the Ice chapter, major improvement, but definitely could have been better. It definitely has flaws, but I solidly say it's good. So, what do I say about Season 11? I will actually go out and say it's not bad, but it definitely isn't good either. I'll say that it rides the line of bad and okay. It rides the line. It depends on my mood. What I plan to do with this little series is to make a review on all of the 11-minute era seasons, and then it'll end with a video with me ranking them all. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. This was pretty fun to make. I enjoyed this. And I will see you soon with the review on Prime Empire. Pretty excited for that one. Bye!